Hello and welcome to the session in which we will discuss how to protect data or data at rest. What is data at rest or data at rest? It refers to the data that's on a computer storage like a server, a database, that's not actively moving from one device to another or network to network. So data that's sitting, that's not moving. So it's crucial that you prevent any unauthorized access to that data, any theft or corruption to that stored data. So think about the data is sitting in the server and it's not moving. So ensuring security of this data involves several layers. Remember, we always go back to this multiple layers, defense in depth. Multiple layer of defense, several layers of protection, including what? Again, you're gonna feel we are reviewing. That's fine, although it seems it's a review, but that's good. Physical protection, physical security measures, digital safeguards, and procedural controls. Those together, they work to do what? To protect the data. And we have the same security measures to protect the data in transit. And we're going to look at each one of them and look at several examples. So by implementing these strategies, organization can significantly enhance the security of their data at rest, minimize the risk of data breach, and ensure compliance, because that's usually a huge risk with regulatory requirements like HIPAA, GDPR, so on and so forth. And this is what we will discuss in this session. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com.
Farhat Accounting Lectures is a supplemental educational tool that's going to help you with your CPA exam preparation as well as your accounting courses. My CPA material is aligned with your CPA review course such as Becker, Roger, Wiley, Gleam, Miles. My accounting courses are aligned with your accounting courses broken down by chapter and topics. My resources consist of lectures, multiple choice questions, true-false questions, as well as exercises. Go ahead, start your free trial today.
We are going to start with encrypt data. I know we talked about encryption. Matter of fact, we had 1 or 2 sessions exactly about how encryption works. So here it's going to feel it's a review. It's like a review / minor teaching, but encrypting the data. And when you encrypt the data, you can use full disk encryption. It means encrypt the whole disk, encrypt the whole disk. Encrypt the whole disk, the entire hard drive of the device. This means that data is automatically encrypted as it is written to the disk and decrypted when read from the disk, requiring no user intervention. Or what you can do file level encryption, encrypt specific files or folder to protect sensitive data. So you don't encrypt the whole database. You would select certain files that are considered more sensitive, and you will encrypt those. So this allows more specific control over who can access particular pieces of information. You could also implement strong access control. What could be some strong access control? Authentication and authorization. And we have a one whole session about authentication and authorization. Ensure only that authenticated individual can access the data. This involves a combination of username and a password with MFA, multi-factor authentication, for an extra layer of security. We could use role-based access control. Assign data access rights based on the user's role. Is this your job to access this data? If yes, I'm going to give you access. Otherwise, if your role, there are also rule-based, the role-based, there are rule-based. Those are part of the implementing strong access control. So users should only access the data necessary for their job function. Also use secure storage solution. Well, encrypted storage media. Utilize storage media such as hard drive and USBs that offer built-in encryption capabilities. Back to encrypting the data. But let the hard drive and the USB drive to be basically encrypted as is. Cloud storage security. If you are securing your data in the cloud, make sure the service provider offer robust encryption and security features. Also considering encrypting the data before they are uploaded to the cloud. Then the cloud would encrypt the storage. So it's double, triple protection. The more protection, the better off you are. We don't want to forget about maintaining physical security, basically checkpoints. Right? We don't allow anyone to access the server areas. So protect physical servers and data storage with security measures such as what? surveillance camera, security personnel, biometrics access, environmental control against fire, flood, and other hazards. Again, we have a whole session about those security measures, but this is a review. Again, in the information system and control, information will be used in multiple lessons because it's all about protecting the data, whether it's cybersecurity, well, it's IT data, well, it's data in the cloud, data in transit. It's all the same thing. So it's good to kind of keep repeating those security measures. Also, you can implement security measures for devices that store sensitive information, including locking devices when not in use and using secure cases for transport, so when you're moving the data from one location to another. Also, you want to implement change management control, and we have a whole session, maybe a couple sessions about change management. When we want to change something, well, we just don't haphazardly allow people to change things. We have to have a process. We have to document this process, be able to go back and see exactly what changes we made, how did we make the changes, are they implemented properly, so on and so forth. We have to document the procedures, have clear documented process for making changes. This includes steps for review, approved, implementation, and rollback, ensuring that all changes are traceable and reversible if need be. And what's more important than regularly backing up the data? What does that mean? It means set up an automated system that back up the data to a secure location on a regular basis in case the data was accessed, had not unauthorized access, or in case we had a ransomware attack where they took over the data, we have another copy of the data. At least we can keep going with our business until we figure out what we need to do with the ransomware. How do you solve this problem? You back it up in a secured location, and this ensures in the event of a data loss or corruption, information can be restored and we can go on with our business without significant data loss. Offsite and encrypted backup is a good practice. Store backup copies in physical separate location from the primary data storage to protect against localized disaster. Ensure that backup are encrypted for additional security. Again, additional layers. And you don't want to ignore the continuous monitoring and auditing. On a regular basis, review access logs, see who logged in, to detect unauthorized attempt to access data. And this could help also identify potential security breaches early. Because oftentimes what happens in companies, they might experience a security breach and they may not know about this until 45 days later. If you keep on reviewing logs who access this data, you might find out there's some unusual activity. You investigate further and you would say, hold on a second, we have a data leakage. We had an unauthorized access. How do we know this? By continuously monitoring and reviewing access, who's accessing the data. So regular security audit can help identify vulnerabilities in data protection strategies and ensure compliance with security policies and regulation. So those are some of the good practices that you want to implement for what? For protecting data at rest. Now, sometimes what we have to do, once we don't need the data, what do we have to do with it? We need to delete confidential information, get rid of it. And remember, why do we delete the data? Because we want to reduce our footprint. What does that mean? It means the less data we have to protect, the better off we are. Because we don't want to protect data we don't need. We don't want to protect data we're not supposed to have. It's illegal to have. Therefore, delete confidential information. So eliminating confidential data securely when it's no longer needed. Well, it involved several methods suited to different types of data and storage medium. So the goal is to do what? Ensure that sensitive data cannot be retrieved or reconstructed after disposal. So when you eliminate, delete, let's call delete or erase the data, you want to make sure you can get it back. And deleting confidential data could take several forms, such as physical destruction, erasing, overwriting, purging. We're going to look at each one of those separately, real briefly. Physical destruction, as the word suggests, basically physically destroy the hardware, the computer, the server that you're using. Simply put, smash it. This method entails the complete destruction of the physical medium that holds the data. Obviously, you want to delete the information first, then destroy it. This could involve shredding a hard drive, shredding, or employing chemical processes to render the data unreadable and unrecoverable. Example will be a company dealing with highly sensitive customer data may choose to physically destroy old hard drive using industrial shredder, ensuring that the data can never be reconstructed or accessed. You could also erase. This is basically erasing. Is the basic deletion of files from a storage medium, from a hard drive. While the data appear to be gone, bear in mind, and the space is available, the deletion can often be recovered using special software. I still remember when I took accounting information system as a graduate student, one of our jobs, one of our tasks in the class was to retrieve erased data. And I was able to retrieve erased data. I mean, there are simple, then I'm talking about 20 years ago, where someone would delete something, a file, and I can recover the file and see what's on that file. So erasing the data is not really a sophisticated way. An employee deletes a file containing outdated project information from their computer. Although the file is no longer visible or accessible through normal means, it remains on the hard drive until it's overwritten by new data. So talking about overwriting, or something called clearing, involve writing new data over the existing information, effectively replacing it. This method can be performed multiple times to reduce the chances that the original data is recovered. Now, the more you overwrite this data, the harder it's going to be to retrieve the original data. So before repurposing a company laptop, an IT staff use software to overwrite the entire hard drive with random data, ensuring no residual data from the previous user can be retrieved. So basically making it harder than just deleting the data, overwriting. And we have purging. Purging is more secure more secured method of data removal that combines overwriting with additional techniques such as degaussing for magnetic storage. Degaussing is basically uses a strong magnetic field to scramble the data, making it unreadable. It's using a strong machine, basically make the data unreadable. So example would be to decommission an old server containing sensitive client data. A business might use a degausser to erase the magnetic tapes, followed by software to overwrite any remaining data on the disk drive multiple times. After purging, deleting, overwriting, purging, the company should be in good shape to protect this confidential information. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. For a law firm handling sensitive client information, which of the following is the most effective way to prevent unauthorized access to its digital files? Well, keeping all doors to the office unlocked. I would say keep all the doors to the office locked, whether that's digital, protecting digital files, or physical files. So I would say A is out, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Okay. Implementing a strict password policy and access control. Would that protect digital files? I would say that's a kind of good answer. So far, it's better than A for sure. Let's look at C and D. Because in the information system and control, what's going to happen is this, and you have to be careful, because here what they're asking you is the most effective. So you could have more than one answer that you can argue it's reasonably good, but you want the most effective, the best. So I would say B is definitely better than A, but I haven't looked at C and D. Only using paper records to avoid digital breaches. Well, first, for one thing, that's not possible, because in this day and age, you have to email, put stuff on the internet, so that's not even practical. And that's not going to help us prevent unauthorized access to digital files, because you don't have digital files. So see, it just doesn't make any sense. It's unreasonable. So now it's the options between B and D, reducing the number of employees to limit potential internal threat. Reducing the number of employees you say, yeah, this makes sense. The less employees we have, the better off we are, because there are less, we're reducing our footprint. But that doesn't protect us. We only need one bad actor. So if we have 10 employees or 50 or 5, we just need one bad actor, one of 5, one of 10, one at 50, to create havoc. So that doesn't solve any problem. Okay, so D is out as we expected. B is the most effective. So on these choices, there was not really a good answer choice other than B, but sometimes you might have some good control for unauthorized access, but you want to choose the best one. What do you want to do now? You want to go to Farhat Lectures and look at additional MCQs. That's going to help you do what? Prepare better for the CPA exam, for your professional certification. Invest in yourself. study hard, good luck, and of course, stay safe.